Hello, I'm Geraint Hardy and welcome to the Healthy Work in Wales podcast brought to you by Public Health Wales. Over the series, we'll be chatting to experts about a range of workplace health and wellbeing issues, empowering employers with the knowledge and support they need to help keep the Welsh workforce healthy and in work. In this episode, we're talking about financial well-being in the workplace. Our guests today are Rhian Hughes and Davies from the Money and Pensions Service. Rhian is the Wales Partnership Manager and has over 20 years' experience of working on the financial well-being and financial inclusion agenda in Wales. She also has experience of working within the mental health sector in Wales more recently too. And Lawrence is a pensions technical specialist with the Money and Pensions Service and has worked in the pensions industry since 1997. His experience includes consultancy and in-house work, including designing tailor-made occupational pension schemes for employers. Rhian and Lawrence, a warm welcome to you both. Lawrence, you can relax for a little bit now, but Rhian, we'll turn our attention to you first if we may. Welcome to you, Rhian. Hope you're well today. It's a big topic we've got to discuss here, but an interesting one as well. From your perspective, what's the biggest issue surrounding financial well-being and the workplace currently?
Thank you, Geraint. Yes, you're right. It is an interesting topic and affects us all. So, we know that money worries are the biggest cause of stress for employees across Wales and the UK, and are also damaging to businesses too. And people take their money worries to work, which inevitably affects their performance and levels of sick leave. The pandemic has shown us that it's more important than ever for organisations to support their employees to build their financial well-being. And we also know the pandemic has meant significant challenges for many organisations, resulting in financial well-being slipping down the ladder of priorities. And as we navigate a new normal through the pandemic, with a phased return to the physical office and an easing of government support measures, it's clear that the case for financial well-being in the workplace has never been more compelling or timely. Research tells us that 94% of UK employees admit to worrying about money, and of those, 77% say that money worries impact them at the work. 69% of UK employers believe that employees' job performance is negatively affected when they're under financial pressure. And as well as the impact on individuals, it also has a wider effect, for example, on the economy, with an estimated cost of £1.56 billion associated with low financial well-being each year as a result of absenteeism and presenteeism.
And Rhian, when we talk about financial well-being, and we've all heard it a million times, is there an actual definition of financial well-being, and what does it actually mean?
Well, here at the Money and Pensions Service, or MAPS, which I'll refer to us as going forward as well, we see financial well-being about making the most of your money day to day, and it's dealing with the unexpected, being on track for a healthy financial future. So in short, feeling confident and empowered. And when we talk about unexpected events, this could be anything, from your washing machine breaking down to your car needing a service, through to being diagnosed with an illness or chronic disease or navigating a pandemic. And for anyone who is worried about the impact of the pandemic on their finances at the moment, they can use the Money Navigator tool on the MoneyHelper website. And that provides tailored guidance based on each person's individual circumstances to find a way forward with their finances.
And with that in mind then, what is the overall picture of financial well-being across the country in Wales?
Well, even before COVID-19, there were significant challenges to financial well-being in Wales. And our research tells us that in regards to how people feel, 58% of adults in Wales feel that keeping up with their bills and credit commitments is a burden. And that 37% of adults in Wales feel that thinking about their financial situation makes them anxious. People feeling like that isn't too surprising when we also know that 27% of adults in Wales have less than £100 in savings and investments. 42% of adults in Wales don't feel confident about managing their money, and 53% of working age adults in Wales don't have a plan for their finances in retirement. We also need to remember that COVID will have impacted on people differently from a financial perspective too. Some people may well have seen themselves save money through COVID due to, reduced costs in travelling to work and reduced childcare costs, for example. But some people will have had less money, and this could have been due to being furloughed, maybe reduced hours, or no enhanced pay for shift work, for example. We were all in the same storm, but we had very different boats. As employers, you may have had staff within your organisation who've worked through COVID, but we don't know what impact COVID has had on their personal circumstances. Their partner could have lost their job, or maybe they house share and their housemate can no longer pay the bills, and they could be struggling.
Yeah, some worrying stats there, Rhian. But in the workplace itself then, what do you believe are the biggest contributing factors to poor financial well-being?
Okay, so firstly, we need to remember that good financial well-being isn't about how much you earn. It's about feeling secure and in control, making the most of your money day to day, and being able to deal with the unexpected and being on track for a healthy financial future. Money plays a part in everything that we do in life, and it's likely that COVID has impacted on people that may never have had money worries in the past. Employers may think that the financial well-being of their workers isn't their responsibility, or that they need to be the experts in everything financial. But that's not the case at all. As we've seen from the research I shared earlier, the reality is that staff would like their employer to provide this information and act as the enablers, the facilitators, and be that trusted messenger. But also drawing on the expertise and support of other organisations to help develop a financial wellbeing programme that meets the needs of their employees within their organisation. Also, as a country, we're not very good about talking about money, and there's a stigma when it comes to having a conversation about money. Each November, we encourage that conversation through Talk Money Week. It's the annual opportunity to encourage people to start talking about money, whether that's with your children, your partner, your parents, or your colleagues. And sadly, nearly 2 in 5 parents and carers in Wales don't talk to their children openly about money, missing out on an opportunity to help with children's vital early understanding of money. And did you know that children learn their money skills by the age of 7? I know, it's a bit of a surprise, isn't it? So it's never too early to start teaching children about money. And despite COVID-19 having a widespread impact on people's finances, the stigma surrounding talking about money as a culture remains. In previous research we've done, 32% of people in Wales stay silent about money worries, with some of the reasons they give including embarrassment or fear of being judged.
Yeah, I've got a 6-year-old, Rhian, so I better get talking about money with him before he gets to that landmark 7 years old.
You had.
We mentioned kind of money there and worries and people worrying and some stark stats as well. Everybody, I think, it's fair to say, worries about money from time to time and whether they're getting a good deal and if they're being paid the right salary. So money's always kind of floating around our brains. So is there a link between money worries and mental health then?
Yes, there is. We need to remember that financial difficulties not only impact on your financial well-being, but they can also impact on your physical and mental well-being too. Financial well-being is just as important as mental and physical well-being. They all impact on each other, and it's hard to have one without the other. It's therefore important to look at well-being holistically and not just look at physical, mental and financial well-being in isolation. If someone's got to the point where their money worries are really impacting on their mental health, they may need support for their money issues, but also for their mental health issues too. So accessing support from MAPS or MoneyHelper, for example, for their money worries, and mental health support from their employer, such as their employee assistance programme or even visiting their GP. Sometimes it needs that pincer approach in terms of support for people to be able to move forward successfully. If you are worried about money, you will bring this into the workplace, which impacts on your performance in work. I mentioned presenteeism earlier too. Money worries don't go away once the employee has entered the workplace. And money worries may also be impacting on the employee's relationships at home. They may also be excluding themselves from social circles or even going without essentials. It can make people feel depressed, stressed or anxious, making it difficult to manage money. For example, You might generally find it difficult to make decisions when it comes to budgeting or spending, or spend money you don't have on things you don't need and then regret it later. Symptoms of a mental illness might cause you to behave impulsively, like spending a lot of money all in one go, and this can be made worse if your income goes down, for example, or if you have to stop or take time off work because you're unwell. We've also spoken to employers in the past who have experienced employees phoning in sick towards the end of the month, and when they've looked in more detail at this, it's because they can't afford to put petrol in the car to travel to work. Sometimes money worries can be a symptom of poor mental well-being. Sometimes poor mental well-being can be the result of money worries. Back in 2018, for Mental Health Awareness Week, our research told us that more than 6 in 10 of us in Wales have experienced poor mental well-being as a result of concerns about money. And 2/3 of us have been worried about a loved one's mental well-being linked to money worries. Plus, 6 in 10 people in Wales have experienced concerns over their own mental health or well-being because of money worries at some point in their lives, with more than a quarter saying that they were currently suffering from mental health issues as a result of their financial situation. And that was in 2018, before COVID, and as we can all appreciate, it wouldn't have helped the situation.
No, not at all. Okay then, let's flip things if we can. Let's look at this from an employer's perspective. What can employers do to support their staff then?
Well, that's where we at the Money and Pension Service and MAPS can help. As I've already said, employers don't need to be financial experts and can talk to us if they're wondering where to start or looking at enhancing what they already offer with regard to financial well-being. There are different ways that you can support your staff with financial well-being, regardless of the size of your organisation, and we can help you do that. For example, if you already have some support in place for employees with regard to financial well-being, is there something else you can do? This could be simply, signposting to up-to-date information, including money and pension guidance support in your induction programme, or sending a regular newsletter or email with top money saving tips, implementing a payroll savings scheme within the organisation, or, create a wellbeing plan or strategy, or if you already have one, ensuring you're including financial wellbeing in there. Or get involved in Talk Money Week each year. Great opportunity to share that with your workforce. Building a relationship with Healthy Working Wales, who have useful employer-focused information on their website, and their team are able to signpost to MAPS and MoneyHelper too. Or, if you don't have anything in place, as I said, regardless of the size of your organisation or the number of employees you have, speak to us about where to start. It can be as simple as just knowing where to signpost someone for help. But understanding what financial well-being is can be key to unlocking this. Here at MAPS, we want to build the financial well-being of the people of Wales and the UK. Financial well-being isn't just about helping people when they get into financial difficulty, which is very important, of course. It's about building the financial resilience of the people of Wales and the UK, so they're able to manage their money day to day, can deal with any unexpected event, and are able to plan for their future. So as I said earlier, feeling financially resilient, confident and empowered.
And taking responsibility, Rhian. Responsibility is a big word, isn't it? Is the responsibility just with the employer, or does the employee have a degree of responsibility also?
We all have a personal responsibility to support our own financial well-being. But sometimes, that can be a struggle because we don't know where to start or maybe scared to take that first step. Providing financial well-being support within the workplace can help staff help themselves. They'll know where to get access to free and impartial guidance that they can trust to support and build their own financial resilience. Employees with good financial well-being can also share their own experiences with colleagues too, which leads to a change in culture within the organisation and helps to remove that stigma about talking about money. You could have an employee who may have started budgeting, possibly using our MoneyHelper budget planner, or started saving through the payroll savings scheme. They've then managed to save for Christmas and not had to go into debt that year to buy Christmas presents. As I said earlier, it's not about how much you earn. According to the latest MAPS Financial Wellbeing survey of more than 10,000 UK adults, people who have high financial wellbeing, so, they feel secure and in control of their money, are amongst the most content in society. In fact, people with high financial wellbeing were more satisfied with life than those in households with income over £50,000 per year, which is proof that money alone doesn't necessarily buy you happiness. So employees can start, for example, with, do a budget. Look at what money you have coming in and what goes out. Look at the bills you pay. Are there ways of getting a better deal, for example? Cut back on those non-essential items. Start saving, even a very small amount. Does your employer offer a payroll savings scheme where you can save directly from your wages? Check your payslip. When was the last time you did that? Are you on the right tax code? Check out the MoneyHelper website, wealth of information on there to help you. Or do the Couch to Financial Fitness programme, a free step-by-step programme for MoneyHelper, and that's designed to help you build confidence in managing your money. Inspired by, as you can probably tell, the popular step-by-step training app Couch to 5K. And it coaches people through weekly activities like budgeting, managing bills and payments, shredding those costs and strengthening your savings, taking small steps at your own pace to boost your own financial confidence, and also from the comfort of your own armchair. And we know finding the help you need about money and pensions can often feel like a minefield and seem impossible to navigate, and that's where MoneyHelper can help you do that. And if you are struggling with any debts, please remember you're not alone. Don't wait to take action, because the sooner you tackle the situation, the better you will feel. Call MoneyHelper to speak to someone straight away for free, impartial and confidential support. Or look at our debt advice locator tool to find a free and confidential debt advisor in your local area.
Lots of amazing tips there. I personally was on the wrong tax code for years when I first started working when I was 21. So yeah, fantastic stuff there, Rhian. How can MAPS, or Money and Pension Service, to give it its full title, help employers in Wales then?
Well, MAPS has been set up by government to help ensure that people throughout the UK have access to the information they need to make effective financial decisions throughout their lives. And we give free and biased money and pension guidance people can trust to help them make informed choices. And our vision is that everyone makes the most of their money and their pensions. Talk to us if you're wondering where to start or looking at enhancing what you already offer. From embedding our money guidance tools and content into your intranet, for example, to helping you evaluate your financial wellbeing strategy, we can support your organisation. You could signpost employees to the MoneyHelper website and helpline, making those money and pension choices clearer. And MoneyHelper is a free and impartial service available online, over the phone, WhatsApp and web chat. And it also recommends further trusted support if you need it too.
And can you give us some examples, situations of financial challenges and how they can be tackled then?
We'll all have financial challenges at some point in our lives. And having that resilience to be able to deal with these is key to good overall well-being. There are also key life events we can prepare and plan for. For example, if you're buying a house, having a baby, starting a job, or planning for your retirement. Unfortunately, there are other life events we may need some extra support and help with. This may be a relationship breakdown, a job loss, or bereavement. MoneyHelper is there to help you with that trusted guidance.
And on that then, on a human level, why should employers be investing in supporting the financial well-being of their employees then?
Well, we want people in Wales to attain and sustain the best financial well-being their means allow. And employers are key to accessing the majority of working age people and can be the starting point for so many of us on that journey.
Okay, let's have a look at this then from an employee perspective, if we can, Rhian. As an example, if an employee is suffering from financial well-being issues and wanted to notify their employer, what would be the process of asking for help?
Well, the process will be different within each organisation, but the key is that there isn't a stigma to asking for that help and support in the first place. It's important that the employee is able to take that first step to access that help. So, If employers already provide financial wellbeing support in the workplace or are considering this following discussions with their employees, the employee will hopefully be aware of where to access that help. So this may be information on the staff intranet or other communication channels used by that employer. Initially, the employee may want to deal with the matter themselves, and having this information on hand will enable them to do this. So if the employee is still struggling and isn't able to access that help, they can either speak to their manager or possibly their mental health first aider if one is available within the organisation as well. The key thing here is recognising that employees will need some form of support at some point in their lives. So it's good for the organisation to take financial wellbeing on board and be aware of where they can signpost staff to for that help, and embed financial wellbeing into the organisation. This helps to remove any stigma and becomes the cultural norm within an organisation. As I said, it's not about the employer being the expert. It's about recognising it's important for their employees' overall wellbeing, knowing where to go for guidance about what to do and putting those things in place. And money and pensions are of course linked. And here at MAPS, we want to make sure that employees are aware of where they can access pension guidance too.
Rhian, thank you for all your advice and wisdom so far. You can take a break and relax a little bit now. Lawrence has been listening. Let's kick things off with you then. Can you tell us what employers and employees need to be aware of and what help is available out there for them?
Yes, well, of course, when we talk about financial well-being, pensions play a key part in this. Planning for later life contributes to a good financial well-being. Now, as Rhian's already said, it's never been more important to support employee financial well-being. We've all heard on the news the coronavirus situation and the economic impact of this may be grabbing all the attention at the moment. But even before the pandemic, many employees struggled with debt. They've had money worries, they've had bad credit, and a lack of knowledge about effective financial planning. Now, employers may want to be able to help their employees from a financial and stress and some worries they may be suffering from. They understand, the toll that financial worry can have on someone's physical and mental health, and then how this manifests in the workforce. It may be poor sleep, trouble focusing at work, increased absenteeism, or maybe some friction between staff and management. Now, however it exhibits itself, it's bad news for the employer as well as the employee. Now, as a result, many employers have introduced ongoing support, maybe annual events, well-being weeks, to raise awareness and provide information for staff in these areas. But I guess with a focus on day-to-day issues, a crucial part of employees' long-term financial well-being that often gets overlooked is their workplace pension.
Yeah, Rhian touched on this earlier, how we're not very good about talking about money here in Wales. And people are private, some people are more private than the others. How involved should an employer be when considering pension provision for their staff then, Lawrence?
Well, I guess, by integrating your pension offering with your broader financial well-being strategy, employers can help their staff learn and understand how to build a solid financial foundation throughout their lives, rather than just, a crisis managed for part of it. Now, obviously, employers need to adhere to automatic enrolment legislation, for example. However, employers may want to pay more than the legal minimum into a pension for their staff, or they can even set up a bespoke pension arrangement with various funds on offer that are tailored and better suited to the actual workforce. Now, the key thing is research. Firstly, you need to know where you currently stand. Now, this may even be through like a staff survey to understand the current financial well-being of your employees. Or you could do this via, focus groups or steering groups. Now, this would put your employees in the driving seat and shows you exactly what they want from their financial well-being package, and then what you can do to improve your offering. Now, it's important, you can use these sessions to probe your staff's financial well-being knowledge generally. For example, how do they think about pensions when it comes to their finances, and if at all? Now, what significance also do they give to pension saving against maybe other shorter and medium-term goals? A lack of pension engagement from staff can usually be attributed to a lack of clarity and maybe unclear communication about long-term benefits. So I guess from an employer's point of view, think of how you can improve your communication and then in turn make your workplace pension the main feature of your financial well-being benefits package. Now, as a company, as the employer, you're in a unique position to help with pension planning. A good pension scheme may be a deciding factor in why an employee has chosen for your company to work for in the first place, and can play a large part in employee retention. Now, choosing the right time to discuss your pension offering with your employees can help emphasize the importance of a pension. For example, it could be part of your strategy to help them, educate them on maybe increasing pension contributions, if they're starting a family, buying a home, or even getting married. These are big life milestones. And an employee is often looking ahead towards the future and then considering the financial implications of such large decisions. Now, sometimes they may be more concerned with the more immediate financial worries, which is understandable. And you might find that, pensions are low on their list of priorities. Now, in cases like this, it can be useful to highlight that maybe your company contribution could increase as their personal contributions increases. Obviously, it's dependent on your own personal contribution strategy. Now, talk to them how this could help them in later life and stress that this is a good opportunity to take advantage of a key benefit of their employment package. Now, finally, some staff might not have any room in their personal finances to increase their pension contributions above that minimum. At this point, you may want to emphasize, the financial well-being resources that you have in place for your business. It may be that your employee is suffering from financial stress. So, ensure there's communication regarding any employee assistance program that you offer or any other resources you have as well.
Now, some employers might be listening and this might be ringing a chord with them and they're thinking, okay, this is great stuff from Lawrence here, but where can I go for further help and guidance? Can you steer us in the right direction with that, Lawrence?
Yes, of course. Now, there are valuable resources that employers can use to bring pensions, centre stage of their financial well-being strategy. First of all, chat to your current pension provider or maybe your benefit consultant. What work have they done with similar employers to yourself? Do they offer any additional help, such as maybe on-site or maybe online financial education sessions? Do they have any other services that might further engage your employees as well? You can also signpost your staff to a wealth of free, impartial information on the MoneyHelper website. Just go to moneyhelper.org.uk, click on Pensions and Retirement, and there's a lot more information there as well. Just to let you know, the MoneyHelper also offers the free service PensionWise. Again, it's via the MoneyHelper website. Now, PensionWise, it's a free, impartial pensions guidance session for those members with a defined contribution pension, where you've got a pot of money, and it takes you through all of the options how you can get access to your money. And it's available to individuals over the age of 50. Now, when employees start to think about retirement, it can help to get an idea as to what level of income do they want and need to achieve in retirement. Now, here, a good starting point is to have a look at the retirement living standards. If you just type into your internet provider, retirementlivingstandards.org.uk, and these standards here would describe the cost of 3 different baskets of goods and services, and it's established through independent research with the public, setting out what the public agree to be a realistic and relevant expectation for retirement. Now, these baskets include things like household bills, food and drink, transport, key things, holidays and leisure, I guess, when you've retired, and clothing and social events as well. Now, these retirement living standards set out 3 publicly determined levels of lifestyles: a minimum, a moderate, and then a comfortable level of income in retirement. Now, they're designed to help people think, I guess, in concrete ways about the lifestyle they want when it comes to retiring, and to understand the cost of this as well.
Yeah, amazing stuff. I had no idea these kind of links and helps existed, so I'm sure everyone listening are learning as well. In the context of saving for the future then, how can a workplace pension help?
Well, when it comes to saving into a pension, the government actually likes to give us a bonus as a way of rewarding us for saving for our future. This comes in the form of tax relief. When you earn tax relief from your pension contributions, some of that money that you would have paid in tax on your earnings actually goes into your pension pot instead, rather than to the government. Now, tax relief is paid on your pension contributions at the highest rate of income tax you pay. So, a basic rate taxpayer would get pension tax relief at 20%. A higher rate taxpayer can claim 40% pension tax relief. And then the highest additional rate taxpayers can actually claim 45% pension tax relief. So you can see there's a good level of kind of bonus there from the government to help people save for their retirement. Now, in addition to the tax relief you get, employees can also benefit from contributions from their employer as well. Now, the contributions are usually a set percentage of an employee's earnings. Obviously, an employer will set their workplace pension rules to define which part of their staff's earnings are included for contributions. Now, this is known as pensionable earnings. If a scheme is being used for automatic enrolment, generally earnings will cover all taxable income from an employer. As I mentioned earlier, there are minimum contributions that companies have to make. Now, for an automatic enrolment scheme, the employer has to contribute a minimum of 3% of pensionable salary. And then the total contribution from both the employee and the employer has to come to at least 8%. So that means, if your company is paying 3%, then the employee has to contribute 5% as well. But I guess just to give an example maybe of, how tax relief on pension contributions can help within a workplace pension scheme. Now, just assume an employee is in a defined contribution pension scheme, okay? Every payday, in this example, the employee pays in £40, and then the employer pays in their £30 as well. Now, the employee gets 20% tax relief automatically. So in this example, a £10 tax relief gets added straight away. Now, as you can see in this example, even though the employee is only paying £40 into their pension pot in this particular month, a total of £80 gets credited when you factor in the tax relief that the member gets and the employer's contribution as well.
It's like having our own Martin Lewis here, but a Welsh version of it. Before we both leave, Lawrence and Rhian, we'll start with you, Rhian, if you don't mind. Do you have any top tips, if you like, money and pension tips that our listeners can take away with them today?
Oh, yes. So if you're an employer, you can visit the Money and Pension Service website at maps.org.uk to find out more about how you can support the financial well-being of your employees and workers, or get in touch with us to discuss this further and how we can help you. Now, our tips may be for employers to share with employees, or employees to have a look at them themselves. Look at doing a budget and see what money you've got coming in and going out. Stay on top of your bills, especially those priority bills like your rent, your mortgage, your heating. Knowing what bills to pay first is really important. And check your payslip, as I said earlier. Are you on the right tax code? You can check this out yourself on the gov.uk website. And think about starting to save if you can. A great way is through the payroll savings scheme that your employer may be offering. And if they don't offer this, look at other ways you can save. For example, through an ISA account or the government's Help to Save account. And finally, I'd say, if you are worried about money, please take that first step and get some help. To find a free and confidential debt advisor, you can use the Debt Advice Locator tool on the MoneyHelper website, or phone our money guidance and ask to speak to somebody to help you. And that number's 0800 138 7777.
Great stuff, Rhian. And Lawrence, you're not getting away with it either. Can you give us a top tip before you leave as well, please?
I would say think about what your workforce wants from a pension arrangement. Carry out some staff surveys to get some feedback on that. You may want to highlight the benefit of pension saving, in the workplace pension scheme. That is the tax relief you get plus that free money on offer by the employer. And also signpost your employees to the various wealth of free guidance on offer from MoneyHelper as well.
Fantastic stuff. Rhian and Lawrence, I can't thank you enough. I'm sure employees and employers will be re-listening to this podcast time and time, making notes about everything you've said. So thank you for your wisdom. Thanks for your advice, and have a fantastic day. Diolch yn fawr iawn. Thank you.
Diolch.
Diolch.
Now, I'm sure we've only touched the surface of this topic, so employers looking for support with financial well-being in the workplace can visit the MAPS website, maps.org.uk, or employees can find that wealth of information on money and pensions on the MoneyHelper website. And I'm sure I'll be looking at the Couch to Financial Fitness programme myself also. That's it for this episode of the Healthy Work in Wales podcast. Thank you for listening. If you've enjoyed the episode, visit the Healthy Work in Wales social media channels and website for further content on how to build a healthy workplace, healthy workforce and healthy business. Please do also rate, review, share and subscribe to our channels. I'm Geraint Hardy and this is the Healthy Work in Wales podcast for Public Health Wales. Diolch am wrando. Thanks for joining us.